What's up you guys, it's Ben and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything there is related to selling on Amazon. So this video is dedicated for everybody that is thinking about selling on Amazon but are starting on a very low budget. I'm talking about around £1,000. If you're actually below £1,000, I personally wouldn't recommend starting Amazon FBA because you're just not going to have enough money for restock, for the first batch and so on. Think about other business models such as online arbitrage, retail arbitrage. Try and get that to that 1,000 effectively and then graduate onto Amazon FBA private label. Now, for those of you guys that do have £1,000 and not a penny more, in this video what I'm going to do is share with you some of my thoughts, some of the things that I personally would do if I was starting again with £1,000. Okay, now the truth is I actually did start with £1,200, but I did have some money for restock later on down the line. So I have been in your shoes effectively, or near enough to those shoes effectively. But now with all of my experience after selling on Amazon for 4 years, what exactly would I do? Because the goal here, guys, is to make that £1,000 into £2,000, from £2,000 into 4, and so on and so forth. And at the very beginning with £1,000, your options, your choices are going to be very limited, because the truth is you cannot afford a lot of the products that are on sale on Amazon because you have to buy them in bulk from China and you simply won't be able to afford them. So in this video, I'm just going to explain this in a little bit more detail and exactly how should you start running your Amazon FBA business. So hopefully by the 2022 or by the end of 22, you're going to have multiple products selling on Amazon FBA and £1,000 is no longer going to be an issue for your next product. And with that being said, guys, if you are interested in selling on Amazon and you want to take this seriously and you are running on a slightly bigger budget, then please don't forget to check the links down below for my own personal mentorship, where I actually help you and guide you every step of the way to make sure you don't make any of those new seller mistakes that, new people tend to make. Otherwise, guys, if you're running on a lower budget but you still want to use some of the business tools, then don't forget to check the links down below for awesome, by far the most reliable e-commerce accountants out there in the market. Helium 10, the best product research tool in the market out there in the moment, or Pioneer, the best Amazon approved business bank account to start off your FBA journey. And with that being said, guys, let's get straight to the video. Right, guys, so first things first, you must understand that £1,000 for Amazon FBA private label is a very small budget. So you have to think, how can I potentially make a little bit of extra money in the next week, 2 weeks, maybe a month to put more money into this business? Because the truth is the £1,000 is only going to get you your first batch of inventory. But what happens when you have to restock? Okay, the payments only come in within 2 to 4 weeks. What if they don't come in on time? You're going to have to find some money out of somewhere to potentially restock. The truth is, guys, but for most of you, once you have bought your very first product, once you got the first batch in, and once you started seeing those sales, your motivation and everything will go through the roof, because it proves the concept that Amazon FBA is real. You can make money on Amazon FBA, and in most cases I think people will actually be able to find an extra £500 to £1,000 to invest into the restocking of that particular product. I'm speaking from experience here. That is exactly what happened to me. So first things first, we need to do is, if I was basically starting off with £1,000, I would get straight onto Helium 10's black box Amazon product research. Okay, this is the tools that I use to find products even now, even when I have a much larger budget for new products effectively. But still, in my opinion, it is by far the best product research tool for Amazon new sellers effectively. Now, the categories that you guys are going to be using are very different. Okay, first things first, we look at the monthly revenue. Okay, we want to make sure that we are going for products that are making at least £1,000 every single month. Okay, so we would put £1,000. We don't want to see listings that are making 10 quid a month, 100 quid a month, 500 quid a month. Okay, now we're going to leave the max completely empty because we don't want to limit our searches. The next one is price, and this is probably going to be by far the most important field that you need to make sure you do correctly, and that is around £10. Okay, you want to see a product that is no more than £10. Matter of fact, I would actually change it to £8, because the truth is, guys, if it's expensive on Amazon, if you're looking for products that are 20 quid on Amazon.co.uk, then chances are they're going to be very expensive on Alibaba as well. This is where you'll find your suppliers and buy the products from. So you want to look for cheap products on Amazon, which will hopefully be very cheap on Alibaba. Next up, we look at review count, and we want to ideally minimize that to about 50 reviews. So we're looking for a product that is making at least £1,000, has price of £8 or below effectively, and has got an 850 maximum 50 reviews effectively. So relatively new product, something that has literally just came on the market not too long ago and has started to sell reasonably well. That is the position that we want to be in, okay? The next thing that I would do, I would completely forget about these, all of these advanced filters, to be honest, because I do want Blackbox to spit out as many results as possible. But what I'm also thinking is, given the fact that we are in Q4, I need to think about what's going to happen ahead. What category should I think about selling in? Because let's be honest, we are going to be late for Christmas, okay? Toys and games would be the perfect category for you if you were looking at this back in Q3, maybe August, September. But given the fact that we are in November now, we need to think about what is going to sell well in the New Year's, after New Year's resolution, the first quarter of 2022. And in my personal opinion, there are a number of categories that you can choose from. Baby products is always a good one because people buy them throughout the year, regardless of the quarter. Beauty as well, another one that in my opinion does go up very well in Q4, but people still need to buy beauty products in Q1 as well. And also the one that I really like and tell all of my students to get into, in my personal opinion, that a lot of people actually completely forget about, is sports and outdoors. Because people want to get into shape, they want to, start losing weight potentially as part of their New Year's resolution. Sports and outdoors is a brilliant category to choose from because it does have a lot of variety. It does have a lot of products that are actually under £10 that you can potentially get into, and it will definitely have products that are under 50 reviews. Now, the beautiful thing about this category as well is the fact that the results you're going to find on Helium 10 at the moment may not be looking that promising. They may not look that good, because Helium 10 actually looks at the figures of the last 30 days. They look what has happened in the past, in the last 30 days. But we, as smart Amazon FBA sellers, we need to think about what's looking good in the future. What do we believe is going to sell in the future? Okay. Now, this is where Google Trends come in. Okay, Google Trends is an excellent tool, and I mean excellent tool when it comes to figuring out what do we think is going to sell well in the future. The key for us here, like I said in the beginning of the video, is to change from £1,000 to £2,000 and then see what we can do next. We can go from £2,000 to £4,000 and so on and so forth. So look for potentially trendy products where the trend is actually going up on Q1. What does sell well in January, February, and March? If you can find a product that sells well during those months, that is not complicated, that is relatively cheap for you to buy, that doesn't have many reviews, you have got a very, very good chance of success, because the truth is most of new sellers will actually be looking at Helium 10 figures over the last 30 days, but by the time the product that arrives, the trend is going to be gone and they won't be selling as much. This is why so many people fail on Amazon FBA, because they don't know how to do product research correctly. And then last but not least, guys, and I speaking this from experience, I would go for as light of a product as possible to get it shipped out via air as opposed to via sea. Now, for bigger sellers out there, sea is the only option because we are buying in bulk. Those products are heavy, their products are big, and we have to wait 8 to 12 weeks. But for new sellers out there, the key is to start selling as quickly as possible. And there is no quicker way of shipping than via air, okay? So you want to ideally go for a product where the total cargo, whatever the amount you buy, is no more than 100 kilos. So let's say, for example, out of nowhere, you bought toothpicks, okay? Let's say you bought 500 sets of toothpicks. You have to make sure, and that's a funny example, but you have to make sure that that whole cargo, those whole 500 sets of toothpicks, do not weigh more than 100 kilos. Because if they do weigh more than 100 kilos, then it won't be financially sensible for you to ship via air. You just might as well ship via sea. So keep that in mind, go for light, cheap products, and most importantly, the ones that are going to be selling well in Q1 that are hopefully under £10. That is exactly what I would do. That is exactly the goal that I would have. And my goal would be very, very simple. Not necessarily to sell that product long term. It would be simply to go from £1,000 to £2,000, just so I can have more budgets, just so I can have more opportunities, more choices later down the line. Because with more choices, we can then move into different products, ones that are slightly more expensive, maybe a little bit more bulkier, ones where we can spend a little bit more Amazon PPC advertising campaigns on, and so on. But starting out in the very beginning, it's all about literally going from 1,000 to 2,000. That should be your only goal. And that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. I really hope you found it useful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.